Welcome back to Two Halves, Two Innings Football. Today, it's just the two of us. Rohit is still celebrating, I think, Arsenal winning. Ajay, did Arsenal score a goal from set piece?
They must have done. It's typical of Arsenal, isn't it?
That's poor preparation on our behalf. I didn't check that. I just assumed that they did. Oh, well, we'll assume that they didn't. Oh, no, they scored Oh, no. Oh, well, I'm going to assume that they didn't, and that's why Rohit's celebrating that they can actually score a goal without...
Well, if you count a penalty as a set piece, they scored a penalty.
They did score. Okay, yeah, there you go.
It's another clean sheet for Arsenal, so fair play to them again. 3-0 away at home, keeping a clean sheet. So that's why Rohit is ecstatic today. he's celebrating.
I think it was Arsenal's 8th clean sheet in a row, and that's a record for them or since 1903-04 season. So that's a long time.
It's crazy. It's amazing how what confidence can do to a team, and what a kind of philosophy of building from the back and having a strong defense can do. We've seen Chelsea do it. I think they had 15 goals conceded in their league win back in 2005, was it, or 2006? So that is a fantastic achievement for a team to do that. But let's see what Matchday 11 brings.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the key for Arsenal. I mean, we start off with Arsenal. I'd say there are so many changes with the lineup as well. So there are a lot of changes. I think there's 5 or 6 changes. So and again, I know Slavia Prague. Sorry, they're not the powerhouse of European football, but still, you got to beat. You got to play the opposition who's in front of you, and they did so. And it's away from home as well. 3-0. Arsenal machine is going well, and also the good thing is someone that Rohit is got high hopes for is Max Doman, and he becomes the youngest player to play Champions League game. I think at 15 years and 308 days.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible, and that's great. And I think Arteta did it. I think in one of the Premier League games as well, where he brought on young talent, and that's what happens when you're winning. You can kind of make those substitutions and kind of say, yeah, you know what, we're 2-0 up, maybe 3-0 up. Go on, lad. Stretch your legs, see what you can do. Impress me for 10 minutes. Yep. So it's a fantastic. I think everything's working for Arteta at the moment, and I think Rohit will be, kind of saying as well that when you can play. I mean, look at their subs. I mean, you've got Campy. He's a fantastic player. They've put him at left back, and they've got now Wanreri and Norgard, Marino, Trossard. I mean, these are players that not in the starting 11, but they're still playing and making an impact. Moreno got 2 goals, filled in the shoes of Gyökeres, who was injured. So it's looking good for Arsenal.
Do you know I was trying to find out what's Gyökeres' injury, but I mean, there seems to be a lot of hush about that. I mean, do you know what it is, or?
I don't know, maybe a muscle injury or something like that. Obviously, I think maybe Rohit was alluding to is if you're feeling a niggle, just come out, because obviously they've got a lot of games coming up, and the league, this kind of league phase of the Champions League is very strenuous. It's week in, week out. You've got to play 2 extra games, so it's a bit of a hard one. So obviously, if I think Gyökeres must have said, look, you rather rest me for a league game and leave me out for this one. So at the end of the day, fair play.
Maybe it's a muscle injury from his poor celebration. His arms up.
He probably pulled.
He needs to do some dumbbells or something.
That's it. He probably pulled a rotator cuff doing that. Yeah. But I mean, looking towards Arsenal's game, I mean, they've got a tough one, to be fair, coming up on Saturday. So obviously they're away to Sunderland. Yeah. At a 5:30 kickoff. So that's going to be an interesting one, I think. What are your kind of predictions for that?
Well, I mean, Sunderland were on fire until they got derailed by the mighty Manchester United. It'll be Granit Xhaka. He'll be facing his old club again. So again, that normally adds a bit of spark to the game, doesn't it? But I mean, I think it should be a regulation win for Arsenal, really, unfortunately.
Do you think the big question is going to be, do you think Sunderland can score against Arsenal at home?
I can't see so, no.
Yeah, well, they managed to score in the last 3 games. They didn't score against United, but I think, I don't know, obviously with the crowd rocking on their side, I think Sunderland might have a chance of getting a goal, but I'll agree with you. I think Arsenal are probably going to be too strong for Sunderland, and I think it will be another win. But it'll be interesting to see if they can keep a clean sheet.
I think they will. Remember, the North East are always very passionate crowds, but they've already been up to North East, and they came through that unscathed, so this is the poorer northeast team, unfortunately. Sorry, Sunderland fans. the Geordies kind of take the mantle for that at the moment. I mean, I'm sure times may change in future, but so you'd expect, as I said, a ninth clean sheet for Arsenal, a nice kind of away win, and get back down the motorway, and M1, I suppose it is A1.
Yeah,
M1.
and obviously if that does go in Arsenal's favour, they'll be sitting on 28 points. Which obviously another game that's going to be of massive, interest to Arsenal fans, and Rohit, I'm sure he'll be keeping a close eye on. Will be on Sunday at 4:30, which will be Man City and Liverpool, who are second and third. So that's going to be interesting. That could potentially open up an 8-point lead. If City and Liverpool draw, for instance. So that's going to be a very interesting one. I mean, what do you think about Liverpool now? Do you think are they back? 2 wins on the trot.
Well, I mean, I didn't watch the Liverpool Real Madrid game. I mean, I should have really. I mean, there's what Dheeraj kind of alluded to while he was we was having a bit of banter with him. Was it 21 European Cups on on display, so to speak, in that game? But I saw the kind of the running commentary between you and Rohit, and kind of the perception was that Real Madrid were quite poor. I saw some of the highlights, and I think Liverpool have confidence. Yes, Aston Villa, that was a home game, but they still beat them. But I think beating the mighty Real Madrid, who they haven't been that well, kind of they've been a bit disjointed, I say, in the Champions League, but kind of in the Premier League, La Liga, they seem to be kind of flying at the moment. So maybe just that adaptation from Alonso for kind of Spanish to European games, but. At the end of the day, Trent unfortunately had a torrid time. He endured a bit of a backlash. His mural was defaced the day before the game. I mean, I feel sorry for him actually, because he has been at the club for 20 years, and I'm not quite sure, why he's getting the abuse he is, because he didn't down tools. He left early actually, a couple of weeks early, which got Liverpool 30 million quid. Do you remember, because he joined so that he could play in the World Club Championship as well, the
Super Cup or whatever, World Club.
Yeah, so but I mean, Trent's replacement, well, right back for this game anyway, Conor Bradley, he had a storming game. He kept Vinny quiet, and I think he riled Vinny because Vinny got a yellow card as well, didn't he? So
yeah, I know. Honestly, I was watching the game, and it was disappointing from Real Madrid. They just didn't really look like that they had much of a game plan. I think they were really missing a number 9 role. I think when they had Benzema, he was a really good focal point that caused Liverpool a lot of problems in defence. And I think for Liverpool it was quite easy strolling the park at times, where they just had a lot more bodies in midfield. I think Bellingham playing as like either a false 9 or the right hand side forward of a 2-man attack. Half the time he was already in his own box, trying to just, drift back in and help out with the midfield. And Camavinga, Tchouaméni were, again, kind of just, passengers in that midfield. They were getting really outdone. And I think, obviously, him using Wirtz as a left winger, I think maybe unlocked where his potential might be best at, which is not so much in the middle, but more out in the wing, where he can maybe impact the game a bit better. But I think for Real Madrid, they just didn't have really good, defence lineup, compared to what we've seen previously with Real Madrid defenders, and the starting 11, Valverde at right back. Again, that was a bit of a shocking one. I thought maybe Trent might have started and put Valverde in the defensive midfield role. I think he would have been more influential and broke up play a bit better. But for regardless of what Real Madrid probably should have done, Liverpool stuck to the basics really well. They pressed really well. They really tested Courtois a lot. So, Liverpool have been quite good in the last 2 games against Real Madrid. I think they won the last game at Anfield. So it's a good confidence boost, obviously, coming back off of a win at Villa, which again could have gone the other way. Could have been a Villa win or a draw. Had Villa put their early chances away and not gifted.
They started well, didn't they? Which we alluded to in the last podcast. Yeah, I mean, but saying that City, they had a great 4-1 win against Dortmund as well, and Erling Haaland again, as one of our shorts, one of our shorts this week, we said, he's a beast and he's back to his best 18th goal this season. I mean, only in November. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Well, the thing is, like, if there's only a team that can kind of stop Haaland, you kind of think it's Liverpool, innit? You kind of think, with the likes of Van Dijk and Konate, he's not really not been as prolific in this fixture before. He's kind of gone missing a little bit. So I think it'll be a great test. It's going to be a massive game at the end of the day for the whole of the Premier League. I think if City dominate, you're going to be looking at a two-legged race, I think, because it would knock Liverpool.
I think, do you think that because of how far ahead Arsenal are, that whoever loses, they're kind of at the title race already?
If City win, I think Liverpool are out of it then, because it'll knock their confidence back. It's really going to kind of say to them, like, crap, we were doing well for these two games. We thought we were doing, we thought we'd be back. But then if City do them by a margin, then I think that they will be really hit by that. And you know what? Because I think Villa maybe just gave them a little bit of a free pass, and Real Madrid didn't really probably perform as well as they should have done. And I think that, again, it'll kind of give Slot a headache. Like, crap, I thought I really had this team sorted now. I thought I knew where to play Verts. But Slot still got problems in terms of where does he fit Frimpong and Kirkes into this team, because it looks like that Bradley and Robertson seem to be the preferred fullbacks. But can Robertson do the job that he did 3-4 seasons ago? And does Conor Bradley have that kind of maturity to perform at right back week in, week out? Yeah,
but I mean, the thing is that if you was Conor Bradley or Robertson, you'd be a bit gutted to get dropped after having played so well and helped Liverpool secure the win against Real Madrid. And regardless of the fact, I mean, the TNT, Kate Scott and Big Meeks and Thierry Henry, etc. They were saying the same about they felt. Well, Thierry actually was saying that they felt the lack, and Gareth Bale was on there actually this week, so they felt the lack of a number 9. Yeah, the lack of a number 9 is kind of seems to be Real's undoing at the moment. So,
well, that's if we thought in the situation last season where Haaland might have gone to Real Madrid, for instance, so then that's where his heart was saying. But then obviously now he's signed that big contract with City now, and I think he's going to stay there. So Real Madrid will be looking at the market for a number 9, and how funny would it be if Isak has a sinker at Liverpool this season and ends up going there to Real Madrid? I mean, I don't think I don't think Etikite and Isak will be in that club. Both of them together won't be at that club for that long, I don't think, because they're going to be fighting for that position.
There you go. You're nowadays the Liverpoolians again. But honestly, it's going to be a cracking game. But I think if I had to give a prediction for Man City and Liverpool, I think the way that Foden looked quite good against Dortmund. He's pairing again as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
he seems to be back in love with the game.
Yeah, that's it. His smile on his face, and obviously Haaland is like a robot. He's got his own YouTube channel now. He was dressed up as the Joker for Halloween, and he was going around Manchester. So I think he might haunt a few Liverpool fans, I think, at the City Stadium, at the Etihad Stadium. So I'm going to go for a City win on Sunday. Yeah. I think it's going to be. I think Liverpool will put up a big fight, but City just look very strong at the moment. So I think they'll send a statement. Pep's got to make a statement like, "Look, Arteta, we're coming for you." And I don't think either of them would want to draw, because I don't think a draw suits either team, to be fair. Yeah, so they're going to be going for it.
I'm with you. I'm going for a City win because they're at home.
Yeah. And now back to our regular MUFC TV. So, MUTV. So we've got a nice morning, afternoon spat at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday. It's going to be a tricky one, isn't it? That 12:30 starts. I don't like them. I generally hate them so much for United. I just don't feel like we turn up. We wake up too late.
I mean, I don't think there's many. Roy was saying the same before. I mean, I don't know if he was just after international breaks or whether he was just referring to 12:30 kickoffs. But I don't think there's many fans that really enjoy the 12:30 p.m. The early afternoon kickoffs, because it just seems like for some reason I don't know if it's psychological. The players just don't seem to have kind of warmed up. But it's interesting, actually, just before we talk about the game, I don't know if you read or heard Jason Wilcox interview this week. So he came across. I was quite impressed with what he was saying. Actually, he made some really good points that he was quite impressed with. So I'm just looking for my notes. Oh yeah, the progress that Manchester United are making. They seem to have a clear strategy in terms of the transfer, which is not something that we've had for a while. He's quite clear that they really were looking for Premier League ready players in the positions that we got, Cunha and Mbemo. And then there was a suggestion that we're going to be looking for a a midfielder, but probably not in the January transfer window. More likely in the summer transfer window. Once I suppose we know where we finished really, and what financial rewards we'll get from the position, and obviously if you're in the Champions League or wherever. So yeah, it's quite a nice strategy. It is a nice. It wasn't no highlight, key headlines, but it's just a nice interview to read. That there's confidence from him, and that United are going the right way. He seems to be having confidence with Ruben Amorim, which we've kind of felt all along. And yeah, it's good.
Definitely.
So I mean, the thing is, when I'm talking about the game now, so we referred to this in the last podcast, that we was quite surprised that Spurs got booed off by their fans in the last Premier League game, and when they got lost to Chelsea. But they came back and they beat Copenhagen at home in the Champions League 4-0. And the player that ignored him, Mickey Van der
Vanderman, something like that.
He scored a stunner.
Honestly, it kind of reminded me, I think, when Tottenham came to United, and I think he did the same, kind of similar, where he was kind of like, he made a run from his own half, and nobody kind of like really wanted to put a tackle in. So, that's something that Amorim's got to be quite careful of, is look, these Tottenham defenders are actually quite attacking. So the space is going to be there for Amorim. I think he's got to do what kind of we did at Anfield and just play a low block. You got to let them come. Got to absorb the pressure, but then you got to hit them on the counter, because Cunha, Mbeumo, Ahmad. I don't know if Sesko's going to play. If Sesko does play, then I think the keeper will kind of use a long ball strategy and kind of get the focal man there, and then hopefully somebody comes off of collects the header from a second ball, because Tottenham's defenders are not exactly the tallest. Obviously, like Pedro Porro and Romero. If Romero's playing, I think Sesko would win that battle. So there's going to be some key areas, especially midfield and attack for United. So I could see United going to Spurs and obviously doing what Chelsea did and just get a 1-0 and kind of quiet down the crowd. So I think that'd be
nice.
That'd be my take on it. I think I think because the 6 games that Tottenham have played, they've lost 3, so they've not really gone into really good form. Apart from this, obviously Champions League midweek fixture that they won against Copenhagen. Obviously, Barca lost to Chelsea, they lost to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. They won Everton, but then they drew against Monaco and lost against Villa. So it's not exactly been smooth sailing for Thomas Frank, and seems like the Thomas the Frank engine has kind of hit a few. Obstructions on the railway. So, but for United, I mean, obviously,
we've well though. I mean, you yourself, I remember, Ajay, you were quite impressed with his kind of start, and then he just seemed to have a little bit of a blip, really. And again, I don't know if it's a new signing for Simons. I think he had his best game so far against Copenhagen,
I think that's what I was going to say as well. I was going to say I've been kind of disappointed with Xavi Simons. I think I alluded to at the beginning of the kind of season that I was, quite actually when they made that acquisition of Xavi Simons, that Tottenham would be very good. Then they'd be very, quite deadly in that attacking front. In the absence of maybe a recognised number 9, which I think maybe they're lacking in this transfer window. That they didn't get somebody to replace Richarlison or their Solanke. So that's why I thought Xavi would have been a good signing to have that creativity, but he's just not kind of hit the ground running. I think some of the summer transfer window signings haven't really hit the ground running as they would have liked, except for maybe for Liverpool, like Etikite. For United, Mbeumo's done well. And obviously for Arsenal, for Gyökeres. So I think his time will come, but I hope he doesn't perform well against us. So I'm hoping he takes a nice little time waking up in the morning. And
we hope he peaked on yesterday in the Champions League.
I hope he can peak next week. Just let us have our win going into international break.
So I'm going to go for a Man U win then?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a Man U little sneaky 1-0.
Okay, I'm going for a pessimistic draw. I think. I just think the early kickoff. Tottenham's confidence after a 4-0 win, and obviously United drew the last game as well. Although as I said, it was admirable. At least they didn't give up; they kept going. They didn't lose. Where historically they would have kind of lost that game, probably 3-1, rather than draw it 2-2 like they did in Forest. So I'm going for a draw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy you'll go for a draw because I'm hoping that we'll win because you've been quite right in the pessimism side.
So I think my superstition kind of trend has been broken.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that with Tottenham having a midweek fixture, regardless of obviously it was at home, so they've not had to travel, and they're at home again. But maybe the players might be a bit tired for that early 12:30 start, and hopefully Amarin's men are a bit more rested, and obviously going to be a bit more maybe on the front foot in the first 10-15 minutes, but then obviously, like I said, soak up pressure because Tottenham will kind of get back into the game as obviously the second half continues. So I'm hoping that we do kind of maybe put it to bed early, but let's just see what which Man United team comes out.
So we're hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get one of the hosts from the Lab podcast. So there's big Tottenham Hotspur fans, and they're on Spotify. They're great conversations, very experienced lads. So one of them hopefully will be joining us when we review Matchday 11. So I'm hoping we win, then we can gloat, but maybe the draw might be fair for our first guest. So let's see.
Yeah, no, they'll probably be hoping for a Tottenham win, but yeah, it'll be fantastic to have a chat with them lads and they get their take on how everything's been at Tottenham and how they rate Thomas Frank's managerial start for the season. So yeah,
good.
Look forward to that. So I think other than that, I think that's our teams.
That wraps it up. Yeah, it was a nice,
predictions.
Short, snappy podcast today. Yeah. So thanks for listening. This podcast is sponsored by Dave's Optometrist. So if you are looking for any specialist services such as sports vision, dry macular degeneration treatment, or dry eye treatment, then please check the guys at Dave's Optometrist. The link to their website will be in the bio underneath. And until the next time, JM, let's hope we're Arsenal. Well, the dream will be Arsenal lose, Man City and Liverpool draw, and Manchester United win. But let's see if that happens or not.
I actually generally don't mind City winning. But no, let's see. Yeah, but that does sound like the perfect weekend. But yeah, I mean, a quick question though: who have you got captain for your fantasy team?
Oh, I haven't looked at it yet. I need to. I haven't changed it for next week, so I don't know yet. I can't remember. I mean, I'm not doing great, so I mean, it's no. I'm no barometer of success at the moment, unfortunately.
Well, guys, if you let us know who you've got captained in your team and also how we can help Amit get some more points, or should we triple captain Haaland? Is that going to be the way forward?
I think. I might have. I've got Haaland. Well, Haaland's definitely in my team. So I definitely got rid of Etikite because since Isak's coming, there's been that disruption there with Liverpool. I can't remember my team now. I need some change. I'll have a look. But anyway, yeah. Please, as always, guys, if you can like, subscribe, leave your comments, we appreciate that. And again, any tips, as I just said, to help me get up that table on the Champions League team, so the Fantasy Football League, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Fantastic. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Take care, stay safe, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.